The Salmon Association gives the deepest concerns about how the Delta tunnels will affect the lives of the wild creatures, specifically the salmon species. From the State Water Resources Control Board's perspective, they guarantee the tunnel construction is not of significance to harming the wild salmon species. Apparently, they might experience the worst of it now these days. The experiences would involve not willing to swim through the land rivers and instead go out on dry lands, and they would be struggling from the tunnel construction. And even if the salmon may not be swimming through the rivers anymore, the pressing matter still leaves the locals in curiosity. Concerns may include if the salmon species will fade away and there will be no point to fish for provisionary food or any other purposes from the salmon. There are outdoor farmers who express their opinions of how they feel about the WaterFix project and what the development of the tunnels can or could affect in their hometowns. The State Water Resources Control Board decided to send out a survey to the residents from the cities of the state to whether they believe the tunnel project is important or not. There have been reports of many local farmers making protests stating that they should stop the tunnels and instead save and restore the delta. The protests could be a betrayal as the farmers' honest response to the tunnel development and claiming that it should not be happening to the environmental resources. Other than the river creatures, the association believes that the governor of the state cooperates with and offers full entrust to the heads behind the WaterFix project. Besides the association's opposition towards Governor Brown's creativity, the State Water Resources Control Board gives their complete entrust by offering assistance to Brown's Delta construction. Here's what the media caught during Governor Brown's Delta process. In other words, Governor Jerry Brown happens to show less consideration and sensitivity for what the locals of California think of his twin tunnel construction project. Not only does the Salmon Association give their rejection, but there are other wildlife programs who are not fully committed to the tunneling process. The Salmon Association may have gained more than one ally who was against the same water proposal, but the SWRCB has made a few connections or cooperations, such as the Department of Water Resources, into making sure that the Delta tunnels will make their occurrence later on. The Salmon Association and the other groups took drastic measures by filing lawsuits against the first Delta tunnels. The lawsuits showcase to what not only is the Salmon Association is acting upon, but the Bay Institute and Defenders of Wildlife are following up towards the recent activities from the WaterFix tunnels. Frankly, most of the other systems come from the Bay Area, and it makes sense of what their judgment is to what the tunnels could affect in the state of California. The association's other main point to the water tunnels is where their location will be built at and how the size for each one can leave an impulse. The State Water Resources Control Board has held their process of the tunneling construction by confirming with multiple hearings, which include the matter of considering to stay with the plan of building one Delta tunnel for the project. And there have been blueprints picturing out half of California's landscapes. The maps could also be pictured as base of blueprints of which type of rivers and streams the tunnels will be connected to during the development. The red patterns represent the tunnels on the map. Even though they are not covering the main long-running state rivers entirely, they might still leave a mark from what has become an addition from the construction of the tunnels.
Governor Jerry Brown's controversial Twin Tunnels plan is taking center stage at today's San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors meeting.
KCR3's Brian Hickey's live in Stockton to explain what's expected to happen. Brian.
Yeah, good morning. The County Board of Supervisors having a 9 o'clock meeting this morning where they'll take their final comments on the project, the controversial project, and then formally vote on those comments to be submitted to the state in what is expected to be a scathing review of what is more commonly known as the Twin Tunnels project, on paper known as the Bay Delta Conservation Plan. County officials and water officials combed through the 40,000 pages of state environmental impact reports to come up with their opinion. They say today they will adopt a resolution formally announcing the county's opposition to the Twin Tunnels project, a project that's expected to cost somewhere between $25 and $67 billion. They say the key problems they have with it is, first off, calling it a conservation plan when it eats up 140,000 acres of what they're calling prime ag land. They say the shortened submission period for comments made it very difficult for them to get through the 40,000 pages of documents, a document that the table of contents alone is more than 250 pages. They say the county didn't have enough input during the planning process, and they also say that this should go to a public vote, considering that taxpayers will be the ones bearing the burden for the billions of dollars it will cost for the Twin Tunnels project. That vote expected to happen sometime after 9 o'clock this morning. They say a press conference will immediately follow it at 11 o'clock. We'll have more on the news at noon here on KCRA 3. Send it back to you.